We are good to go.
We're good to go.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the City of Albany IDA Governance Committee meeting agenda. My name is Susan Petto, and I'd like to call to order this meeting on Thursday, September 16th, and we are getting started at 12:33. We'll start with a roll call, noting that all members of the committee, except for Bob Schofield, are here. We do expect Bob to be joining us. So we right now have with us, as far as IDA board members, Darius Shanfar, Lee Eck, and Anthony Gaddy, as well as staff members from the Capitalize Albany Corp, representing the IDA today. So we will start with a motion, please, to dispense with the reading of the minutes and approving the minutes of our governance committee meeting of December 17th, 2020. Darius?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
It's going to have to be you, Susan, since we only have two members of the governance committee.
All right, then I will second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. I will next move to information about appointing our new ABO, our qualifications for our new IDA board member position. We now sadly have two positions open with the departure of Sarah, and our learning yesterday that Lloyd will be stepping down because of health reasons as well. We have had discussions already with the City of Albany Common Council about replacing those positions, and staff has provided us with a document outlining some of the information about the position and what we would be seeking in that position. Sarah or Tom, do you want to add a little bit more to this? Thanks.
Sure, Chair, thank you. So what you do have in your packet, in the packet up on the website, we have the call for applicants. You can see what the Common Council put out. So that will give you some good background on how they describe the position and responsibilities for members of the Industrial Development Agency and CRC. And then the board members also have the letter that was distributed this time last year to the Common Council that outlined the desired background and qualifications of an ideal board member for the IDA and CRC. So the governance committee is charged. It is the body of the IDA that is charged with developing recommendations to the City of Albany Common Council, who is our appointing body for both the IDA and CRC. Board members serve at the pleasure of the Common Council without term limits and are really vetted through. Oh, here's Bob Schofield. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. You're on mute, but we can see it, and I bet we can hear you in a second.
I said, thank you. I'm sorry I'm a few moments late here. I'm just coming out of a deposition, so.
No worries. Welcome.
Right in time for the first agenda item. So we're just talking through the Common Council's process. They do look for guidance from the governance committee. And the way that we've provided that previously is via letter. So you've got last year's letter to sort of work from as a group. We'd provide that background. I believe we will see resumes as an organization as they come into the council. And then if they follow the same processes in years past, Susan and I will be invited to attend those interviews and provide an overview of the IDA. So for order of business for today is really to have a discussion with the group as to what those qualifications are, particularly in light of Tracy and Lloyd's resignation. Tracy, as a longtime business owner, commercial real estate expert and agent, downtown resident as well, and Lloyd having economic development experience professionally, but then also being a community advocate and representing the community as significant strong suits there. So I think I'd start there and then open it up to the committee for a conversation related to that.
Well, I think someone with real estate expertise, and also someone who's more on the ground with the understanding of the needs of the community beyond just business sensibilities. I do have a question. It pertains to one individual who I think might be a good fit for the board. But is Virginia Rollins eligible as a former staff of Capitalize Albany?
I don't think that there's a preclusion.
Okay.
Well, I'll echo the thoughts that, to the extent that any of us play roles, certainly what Tracy brought to the board was a sense of what developers face and are going through from a very real perspective. And I think it's going to be extraordinarily hard to replace that, but I certainly would love to see us have someone who at least has involvement in the business community and bring that support or bring that to us, because I think that will be a hole that will be harder to fill if we don't. And we have two opportunities to get that mix. So hopefully, the council will share that agreement with us. She was quietly influential on all of us in making sure that those aspects of our decisions were focused on. And she's really good at that.
Any other input on qualities that we're looking for in our new board members?
A willingness to understand how we do things, why we do things, and how it's developed to be this way, and what the parameters are that we work within to let us to do this, to conduct our affairs in the manner that we do.
We are a little male dominated right now too. I mean, I think that's an obvious visual thing, but I assume that they'll think about that.
Great. So I think to that comment, Bob, we've got, if you look at last year's letter, would leave the bullet diversity with regards to gender, race, ethnicity, background, and perspective is of importance to make sure that stays.
I mean, that's of personal importance to me. I hope they share that view. I assume they share that view.
I think that, so going through what's been talked through, emphasis on real estate experience, which we've got a line in there that we can repurpose, and on the ground understanding of the community. We talked about that previously as well. An understanding of the business community, a financial understanding of project dynamics, and an understanding of compliance process and background. I think that compliance process and background is a new thought in particular that we can add. The one thing that I see that we had in the letter previously that hasn't come up yet is the line that the committee developed last year, noting that a strong sense of ethics, sensitivity to conflicts of interest, and dedication to fiduciary responsibility to the organization's missions are critically important. Being able to spell that out again, if you're all comfortable, same as last year, we would keep that consistent as well.
Yeah, it kind of goes without saying, but yes, that should be included in the communication.
You would hope that it would go without saying. Yes.
One would hope.
I don't.
It's a new day and age.
I don't know the answer to this question, and probably the council is more sensitive to it than I would think. But is there ever an effort to try and make sure that different neighborhoods in the city are represented as part of our quest for diversity? So just think of. I guess I don't even fully know if we're missing any neighborhoods now that I think about it, but is that something that is important?
In some ways, Bob, the council members themselves do this proactively.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
why I
some of
figured they'd
us
probably
came on
focus on-
board, yeah, because our council member, recommended us and put our names forward. But I think that's a really good thing to emphasize and to kind of remind the Common Council that, that is an area where their input is especially welcome, and making sure that we are diverse geographically as well as the other ways that we've already discussed.
I'll add
Yeah,
that in
maybe
the
just
bullet.
inserting that word geographically into the diversity
work.
statement.
And one other thing, Sarah, that again would go without saying, but to remind them that this is a real working board, and that people who join this board need to know that they really do have to show up, attend the meetings, and participate, especially with the tight quorum situation that we have, especially for the committees, so that people who come on know that there's committee work to be done as well, and that you got to show up. It's not the type of board that you can just put your name on and bask in the glory, all the glory of being on the IDA. And your high salaries too. Are.
Exactly. I'll add that in as a paragraph following those characteristics to outline
great.
the responsibility aspect. That's great.
Thank you. And we've been really lucky. Thanks. Everybody has been so good in these last couple of years when things have changed so fast, and without making quorum at every single meeting, we really would have been hamstrung in many of the situations where we had to respond quickly to some of the events that have taken place over the last year and a half.
Great.
Great. Any
Maybe
other
I'll
feedback?
I can recap
Yes,
one more time
thank
to
you.
make
That'd
sure
be
we're not
great.
missing anything. So I'm going to make sure to add in the concept of geographic representation in the diversity bullet. We're going to, it sounds like maybe the focus had been a little bit more on maybe splitting out that second bullet that talks about both financial analysis as well as regional economics with urban revitalization in there. I might split those two concepts out to put more of the focus on, business representation, financial analysis. And then we will have the appreciation of Albany's communities and neighborhoods with a desire to see the city grow and thrive. We'll certainly say understanding of the real estate market would be beneficial. Would say we'll add in something related to compliance, dedication to compliance process, and understanding the background of the IDA. And then we'll also we'll leave that ethics statement in there and add a paragraph on just outlining the level of responsibility of being on this intensive and working board.
Sounds good. Do we need a vote to direct staff to forward this, to amend and forward the letter, or are we good to go?
We don't think
Not
so.
that we need a vote, but just we'll have it on the record, and we'll make it a matter of the minutes that the board directed us, or that the committee directed us to submit this, and we can also report out at the board meeting next week.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, I'll circulate a draft of the letter prior to submission to the committee, just so you can confirm that I captured everything you wanted me to, and then we'll go from there.
Great. Okay, next on the agenda is ABO board member training status review. Tom, do you want to
Great.
walk us
Yeah, well, I will. Thank you. So in your packets, we've included some guidance from the authority's budget office about the required training. Just as background, when new members come on to the board, the ABO requires a training within the first year. Following that, the ABO, as a suggestion, is to be trained, go through the training every 3 years. And so currently we are in compliance. Tony, I know you have until the end of the year to complete the training. And then in terms of the 3-year trainings, we have Darius, Bob, and Lee are coming up at the end of the 3-year training period. Again, it's a recommended best practice for that, but we are in compliance with our training. And I did include, there's a memo in the packet that has dates. We'll circulate additional dates for October once the ABO posts those. and just remind everybody about the upcoming trainings.
Thank you.
Thanks. Great.
I've
You're
really
welcome.
gotten to the point where I was missing the training opportunity, so I'm glad to go and do it one more time. It is riveting stuff.
Mhm. Bring your popcorn.
Joe Scott, why are you smiling?
You're not selling it, Bob.
I've done it myself, so I know that's why I'm smiling.
I will note that they are virtual. So I don't know how they were done in the past, but they are offering virtual trainings.
And they are more fun than seeing your name in the paper for not having taken the training. So that is for sure.
And that's how you sell it.
There you go. All right, so we are in compliance at this point in time and will continue to be as we move forward. We'll move on to the third agenda item, which is the report on the mid-year verification of public document postings on our website. Are we in
Sure.
compliance for that, Tom?
We are. So as is best practices, we perform a mid-year verification of all the public documents on our website. And I'm happy to report that we are in compliance in terms of the requirements that are up there. Of note, we are in the process of cleaning up a few things on the website, just given some of the board and staff changes. We're updating the agency policy manual cover, the staff member list, the board list, and the org chart up on the website. So those will be up within by the end of the month. In addition, there are a couple places where we might want to add in a link just to make it easier to get to some information. So we are going to be looking at ways to make it more efficient. So we'll report back to the governance committee on all the changes at an upcoming meeting.
Great. Yeah, the website's really come a long way. You guys have done a great job with that. Thank you. All right, on to review of status of required board compliance documents. Tom, are you gonna
Sure.
kick those off as well? Thank you.
As we do annually, we review the status of board compliance documents, and I'm happy to report that we are in compliance on all of our confidential board evaluation forms, their conflict of interest forms, and our financial disclosures for 2020. And we have all of the completed required acknowledgement of fiduciary forms from all of our board members. And so with that, I do want to just spend a couple minutes going through the board evaluation forms. We did submit them to the ABO back in March, but it appears that we may, this is the first governance committee meeting that we've had. And so we just wanted to kind of review that. So in your packets, there is the summary of the evaluations in there. And for all of the criteria, with the exception of one, all 7 members that had completed the form agree with the criteria. There is one where it's 6 agree and 1 somewhat agree, which is the board has identified the areas of most risk to the authority and works with management to implement risk mitigation strategies before problems occur. And that is the summary. If there's any discussion on that.
And of course, everyone knows if you do have concerns at any point through the year, please bring them to a board meeting or to staff so that we can address any of these criteria on the spot and not wait for our audits or compliance forms to take care of that. All right. Anything else then on the compliance documents, Tom?
No, that's the end of the report.
Okay, great. Then we can move into other business. Anything else? Okay, just a note that a couple of us were just at the Kenmore Ballroom for that ribbon cutting and the announcement of KDO's business that will be there. Very exciting. The room looks fantastic. If you weren't able to come earlier for Sarah's Toast or to today's event, do try to stop by. It is a gorgeous space, and that was some really great work done on that. And the IDA was thanked, and Sarah was called out for her great work on that as well. So nice job. All right, anything else for today? If not, If not, I'll call for an adjournment. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.